What is up, hooligans? And happy freedom. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Hooligans, where we try to make the news suck a little less. Now, I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you're over on Rumble, please hit that like button. More likes equals more hooligans. We are super late today. I had a whole bunch of stuff I had to do today, and of course, everything had to take forever. That's just the way it was today. Probably will continue on until I have to go to sleep. Either way, we're going to read through the schedule really quick, and then we will be checking on all the chats. So let me know how you hooligans are doing today. Then, of course, we will be getting things started. We'll be starting off with a video titled U.S. to Take Back Panama Canal from Chinese Influence, says Pete Hegseth. Then we got a video titled Shopify CEO, No New Hires Unless You Prove AI Can't Do the Job. They're desperately trying to get AI all incorporated with Shopify, which is like a e-commerce platform. Then we got a video titled Social Security Numbers Issued to Non-Citizens Over the Past 4 Years, which we knew that, but now we got confirmation. Then we got a video titled AG Pam Bondi Announces Offload of $509 million doll hairs in illegal drugs. They had a big bust. Then we got a video that's titled Trump Administration to Begin Screening Border Crossers' Social Media for Anti-Semitism. I don't know what to think about that. It kind of seems like they're cracking down on free speech, but they're trying to tie it to border crossers. Then we got a video titled Judge Orders Trump White House to Restore Access to AP. Associated Press was kicked out because they refused to say Gulf of America. The judge is trying to reverse that. Then we got a video titled Trump to fine border crossers up to $1,000 a day for defying deportation order. So, like the big fat broad we had that was bragging about being here illegally, well, she's looking at fines at this point, just like the rest of them. Then we got a video from earlier today titled President Trump Participates in a Photo Opportunity with Racing Champions. He was answering questions at the end of that. I figure we might as well cover it. It's the closest thing we'll have to a press briefing today. Then we got a video titled Many Black People and Women Will Not Be Able to Vote If We Require ID. This individual, I want to say is from The View. I can't think of her name right now, but she's basically saying it's voter oppression to require voter ID. Then we got a video titled Trump Admin Faces Deadline on Mahmoud Khalil Deportation. It's coming up. Then the last little bit of the news is new details emerge on alleged Trump assassin. This is Ryan Ruth. I don't know why they say alleged Trump assassin. Obviously, he was there to do bad things. Then we'll be getting into the fun stuff. We'll be opening today's door from the advent calendar that was sent to us by Wad. Then we got two funny videos of the day. First one's titled Reasons to Get a Cat. And our official funny video of the day is titled Don't Feed the Dinosaurs. All of that's coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat and see how you hooligans are doing today. What is up, everyone, over on jeffmaclive.com. What's up, Russell? What's up, GuessMJ? What's up, Josh1776? What's up, Jay Spray? What's up, Snooks? What's up, Damsel? What's up, Hair Juicer? Happy freedom, you hooligans. Appreciate all of you guys being on the website. And what is up, everyone, over on Rumble? Brian, you were first today. I appreciate you racing to the chat, Brian. What's up, everyone, over here on Rumble? Too old to care. Happy freedom to you. What's up, Kevin? What's up, Tony Rez? What's up, Tree Herder? Happy freedom to you. Let me see. What's up, Mary Todd? Appreciate you sliding through. I think we got everybody. Don't forget, hit that like button. See if you can get us on the front page. And what is up, everyone over on Kick? What's up, Meta? Happy freedom to you. And what is up, everyone over on Twitch? What's up, Tony Rich? Happy freedom. And what is up, everyone over on the Commie Tube? Shanti, you were first over here. Appreciate you. What's up, Cecil? What's up, John? Happy freedom to you. And what is up, everyone over on X? Let's get this pulled up really quick. Happy freedom to you, hooligans. All right, we'll go ahead and get into things. Like I said, we're going to be starting off with a video titled U.S. to Take Back Panama Canal from Chinese Influence, says Pete Hegseth. Let's go ahead and get this pulled up real quick like. All right. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you hooligans really quick that we have these Golden Age t-shirts. Now, this design was created by Alistair, and Alistair is a badass in just about everything he does. So I will be posting all of his links in the chats for you hooligans to have the opportunity to hire him for your creative needs, because if you think it, he can create it. Now, this design does come in shirts for men, shirts for women, tank tops for men, tank tops for women, Pullover hoodies, zipper hoodies, coffee mugs, stickers, dog tags. We've made cooking aprons out of this design. Today I got on the Happy Freedom Hooligan badge. We got lots of items and lots of designs over on the merch store. I'll be dropping all the links in the chats while we're watching this first video.
The United States will take back the Panama Canal from Chinese influence, said Pete Hegseth on Tuesday during the first visit to the Central American nation by a U.S. Defense Secretary in decades.
Together, we will take back the Panama Canal from China's influence. Together, with Panama in the lead, we will keep the canal secure and available for all nations.
More than 40% of U.S. container traffic, valued at roughly $270 billion a year, goes through the Panama Canal. That accounts for more than two-thirds of vessels passing each day through the world's second busiest interoceanic waterway, which the United States built more than a century ago and handed over to Panama in 1999. Trump has complained that it was a bad deal for the United States. On Tuesday, after talks with Panama's government and President Jose Raul Mulino, Hegseth vowed to deepen security cooperation with Panamanian security forces. He said China would not be allowed to weaponize the canal by using Chinese firms' commercial relationships for espionage. That language appeared fine-tuned, talking tough but offering some assurances to Panamanians still unsettled by Trump's threats to reclaim the canal, while not ruling out using military force. Discontented Panamanians took to the streets in the capital Panama City on Tuesday in protest of Hegseth and Trump, as well as President Mulino, who they called a traitor and accused of giving away their sovereignty and self-determination. U.S. officials and experts say the United States has found a willing partner in tackling Chinese influence in Mulino, who in February announced Panama's exit from China's flagship overseas infrastructure plan, the Belt and Road Initiative.
Okay. Well, I don't know a whole lot about the Panama Canal, but it sounds like the Panamanians, or whatever they called those people, they don't seem too thrilled that we're trying to take control over the canal, but I promise it'll be better than if China takes it over. That's just a guarantee. Next up, Shopify CEO says no new hires unless you prove AI can't do the job. I said this when AI first came out. You have access to a lot of free AI. They also have AI that you can pay for. And most of it's just kind of gimmicky nonsense, but some people have found use out of AI. And one of the neat things about AI is it's kind of like having an assistant or like an extra employee that you don't have to pay. You don't have to put them on the books. You don't have to pay taxes for them or anything like that. It's like a little helper, but it's wrong. Like at least 30 or 40% of the time it is wrong. So, I mean, it is what it is. But either way, Shopify is trying to incorporate that in their business. It's coming up next, but first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about the U.S. trying to take control of the Panama Canal. Jay Spray, all the money we spend, let's just build a canal between the U.S. and Mexico. Screw the wall. I mean, we could. We could. What's up, Russell? Happy freedom to you. Josh 1776, Copilot is wrong 80% of the time. Is it? I haven't used Copilot yet. I see they installed it on Windows 10. I think it was already a part of Windows 11. I've never used Copilot, but I believe you. I've used ChatGPT. I've used Grok. I'm trying to think. I got Hooli. Hooli needs to be updated, though. But yeah, like anytime I have them write code, which is the most useful thing I can get out of AI, it's wrong. I'll try and implement the code and it'll be broken, and then I'll try to get the AI to fix its own code that is broken, and they just break it more. And if I was smart enough to write the code, I wouldn't need the damn AI. So it's just like this paradox of idiocracy. Josh 1776, I use Copilot only because it's free, unlimited chats. Yeah. What's up, Hair Juicer? Happy freedom to you. Mary Todd did my taxes, took an hour. But I have a kink in my neck drinking beer early. Ain't nothing wrong with that, Mary Todd. Glad you got your taxes done. They're such a pain in the ass. I got to go pay mine on Friday. God only knows what they're going to charge me. What am I hearing? Is my phone making sound? Oh, okay, apparently I'm playing the live on my phone. What's up, Mystical? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Tori Wayne? Appreciate you being here with us. Traitor infidel. Calling people traitors and stuff. Meta, you can't see the live over on Kick? Maybe you got to refresh. What's up, Corey Luca? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Vinny C? What's up, Random? What's up, Jim? What's up, Lion's Heart? Happy freedom, you hooligans. Corey Luca, haven't been to McDonald's in a year and 4 months. Salty has a nifty video. Might have to go back. Yikes. I haven't seen it yet. I'll have to check it out after the live. Lone Wolf, happy freedom to you. That's why Trump wants Greenland also. Shipping routes. Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about the Panama Canal, but I know that it's a strategic thing, just like Greenland. For Greenland, it's like a military advantage for us to have Greenland, and then for the canal, it gives us control over imports and stuff like that. But that's really all I know. I don't really know that much about it. What's up, Tony Rich? What's up, Lion's Heart? Appreciate all of you guys being over on X. Hair Juicer, my coworkers filmed 3 UFOs on Monday night. Crazy shit. Do you have the video of it, Hair Juicer? You posted it in Hooligans Alley. I'd like to check it out. Well, Hooligans, let's get into this next one because we got a plethora of news today. Like I said, Shopify CEO, no new hires unless you can prove the AI can't do the job. It's an interesting concept, I suppose. People bitch, when things are overstaffed and your hours get cut because you got too many employees. So, hey, this might be the way to go. Either way, hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get into this.
Is AI coming for your job? No, I hope not. But if you work for Shopify, one of the biggest e-commerce platforms in the world, you may not like this answer. The company's CEO is encouraging its employees to weigh their need for workers against the talents of AI.
I'm Alexa. I share this name with lots of amazing people.
From homes to cars to classrooms and now in business, artificial intelligence is being used more and more to advance our lives. And it's finding its place at Shopify, where co-founder and CEO Toby Lutke says using AI is a fundamental expectation for the e-commerce platform's employees. In a memo, Lutke underscores the direction our world is going, noting, AI is a tool of all trades today and will only grow in importance. Lutke calling on employees to put AI to the test before expanding departments and hiring new employees. And some tech leaders think his plan is great motivation.
He's asking them to think about AI as the accelerator, using the data that they have available and their big ideas and how that could augment their big ideas, and then he'll give them investment.
And Lutke wants employees to use AI to prove they need more resources, writing, teams must demonstrate why they cannot get what they want done using AI.
This is about having quality work for their direct employees and really delighting and serving the customers.
And for anyone who thinks AI is taking jobs,
man is not being replaced by a machine.
Experts say in Shopify's case, they want artificial intelligence to help employees think like their customers. It can help anticipate wants, needs, and in this case, shopping patterns, which will in turn help the consumer and likely the company's bottom line. Shopify is not alone in using AI. According to Exploding Topics in 2024, 40% of all global companies reported using AI in their businesses.
Using AI and technology reinforces your business controls because you know where information is going and you know who's using it and for what. It really saves so much time from your internal employees to really work on high quality projects and think of new ideas.
And I imagine it'll just keep getting better and better as time goes on. When it comes to AI, though, there have been reports, as we know, of inaccuracies or biased content, too. But our expert we talked to here says that AI can actually help prevent this in customer-focused businesses like Shopify. And I think in my industry, and probably yours, too, we just have to work alongside it and learn how to do so. Otherwise, we might get left behind.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to join.in.
Yes, well, it's interesting that they talk about how many businesses have incorporated AI into their business, but they don't talk about how it's being shoved down your throat every step of the way. Now, as you guys know, for the last 3 years, I've been working on the jeffmaclive.com website, trying to make it everything we could ever want or need. And every step of the way, they're like, why don't you incorporate AI? Why don't you put AI in it? Because I don't want artificial shit. I want authentic shit. That's what I want. I want things to be authentic, not artificial. And it's funny because they said, well, is AI going to take your job? And then it just plays a short clip of the woman saying, no, people aren't being replaced by machines. Like, that's reassuring. feel all better now. But what's really funny is that they say that as the title of the video is we're not hiring more people because we'll use AI to do those jobs. So is the machines replacing people or not? Because they're kind of in a paradox in that video itself. Now, obviously, it is replacing people in that sense because they're not going to hire anybody new. They're going to force AI to do this stuff. What's really goofy is the way that they're going to use it, the suggestions that they made in the video, that it could predict what customers want, whether or not they're satisfied, things like that. Well, you could also look for feedback, get feedback from your customers where they can tell you directly why you suck or how you can make it better. That's authentic. Instead of having AI just predict, just guess out of thin air, you know, why your customers don't buy your shit and stuff. So I don't know. I've tried to use Shopify before. It's kind of like a cookie cutter online store. You don't get a lot of control over customization. You could sell just about anything using it. It does have community guidelines like a social media platform. I don't know if it's worth the money to use it. Depends what you're trying to sell, I suppose. But AI is not going anywhere. It's going to keep getting thrown in our face, and eventually it'll get blamed for the bad stuff. I've been saying this for years now, but I really think that when the Epstein stuff comes out and people's names get dropped and maybe content hits the internet, I really think politicians are going to blame AI. They're going to say, no, that's not me on tape doing inappropriate things and breaking laws. No, that's an AI generated blah, 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 and we should charge the person that created it. Or we should even regulate and ban AI because people are using it to suggest criminal activity by politicians. I still think that they're gonna blame bad stuff on the AI, and that's what they're going to do. Because when AI first came out, well, it was introduced to us, they were talking about regulating it. We don't hear about that anymore. Now they just tell us how great AI is. Every week we cover robots with AI or industrial tools and stuff. Like we saw like this table with an arm on it that was going to have AI to help you hang drywall and shit like that. Oh, it's so great. It's so great. But I think they got something else up their sleeve. Next up, Social Security numbers issued to non-citizens over the past 4 years. Finally getting that confirmation. We already knew this was happening, but here we go. We got the green light with it. Either way, it's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you Hooligans think about Shopify refusing to hire more employees unless they can prove that AI can't do the job. Snooks, I hope you're right about AI. What about AI did I say that you hope I'm right on? I think I said that correctly. Either way. Jay Spray, if they don't have feelings or emotions, how do they know if a woman is satisfied? Men still haven't figured that out. Yeah, Jay Spray, like I said, they're not 100% accurate. Snooks, no, AI is not going to go away. I think they're just going to restrict it. I think they're going to limit it, and they're going to continue to watermark it. They've already started doing that with certain AI platforms, making it so when you generate content somewhere on the video or the image, it'll say generated by whatever the AI system is that they're using. They're doing a lot of that to prevent copyright. The other thing that's really weird about it is if you generate something with AI, you cannot copyright it. So if you generate a photo, that is not your photo, or a video, or you have it write lyrics, or anything like that, you do not own the rights to it. And I think that's really interesting because I don't know how they could tell. If you took AI lyrics and you changed like 60% of the words, just small changes here and there, how would they know if that was wrote by AI? They wouldn't know. And so I think a lot of it is kind of fear-mongering. They're like, we can tell. I don't think so. College kids are like getting their degrees using AI and shit for most of their work. They're going to get out of college and be fucking brain dead and have this nice little degree when really they didn't even pass shit with their own brain. They used AI for everything. So, but yeah, Snooks, it's not going to go away. It's like computers. It's here to stay. And either we can get used to it or we can hide from it. But if you hide from it, there'll be a day where everyone will know how to use it but you. And then you'll be pretty much stuck in the past. Just like 20 years ago, right? There was a bunch of elderly people who didn't want cell phones. They didn't want email. They didn't want to deal with computers and shit. They just wanted to do everything in person, pen and paper, so on and so forth. Now that stuff's not even available. You want to try and get a job, You can't go fill out an application in person and talk to a manager. They actually tell you to go online and get a resume, and then you got to learn how to build a resume online when maybe you've never been trained to do that. And now your life's hard all of a sudden while you're elderly, which is not when you want your life to be hard. And that's how it's going to go with AI. I think AI is goofy. I think it's gimmicky, but at the same time, I know that I have to learn to use it. Otherwise, in 20 years, I'm not going to know how to do basic shit because I refuse to learn the new system. Alistair is probably the smartest person I know when it comes to AI. He seems to be able to make AI work for him in lots of different ways over on the website. Everybody's seen the images of me that he has generated. They look pretty realistic. And like I said, he's probably the smartest guy I know that uses AI. But for me, it's quite difficult, and I only see all the flaws in it, so it's frustrating for me. What's up, guest Sam? Happy freedom to you. Deal, Snooks. What's up, MU? Happy freedom. What's up, Zupia? What's up, Silver Wolf? Happy freedom. Use AI to win the lotto. It's a good idea. See, and I've been waiting for things like that too. Like, there's got to be things that AI could be useful for to really propel you forward to be able to gain wealth and stuff. There has to be. The thing is just how you use it and how accurate its response is. Zupia, talking about Midjourney. One OD, the AI art engine, says anything it creates for you is fair use and you can claim it as your own. Oh, talking about Midjourney? Yeah, but copyright laws won't allow you to do that. When you try to register your tangible good as copyright, it should ask you if it was generated by AI. Now, you could lie, but I don't know how that's going to work if you have to go to court and defend your tangible good. You could lie about it, but at the same time, if you say, yes, this is AI generated, they're going to go, nope, you can't copyright this. Because the systems, the AI systems may allow you to keep, like with Grok. I don't think Grok is restricting you from using copyright. It's the Copyright Office that's restricting you from copywriting any material that was generated with AI. So it's like from the top down, not from the bottom up. What's up, Screaming Eagle? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Stoner? Nah, you don't need pants. Not for this live. Happy freedom to you. What's up, Trapper? Happy freedom to you. Screaming Eagle, how can I be here on time every day if your stream is at a different time every day? Now I'm pissed. Well, like I said in the beginning of the live, I had a bunch of stuff I had to do today, and it was like one thing after another, and everything took forever today. I did not mean for us to be starting the live at damn near 6 o'clock. Otherwise, I would have put out an announcement. Everybody should be a part of either Discord, Telegram, or jeffmaclive.com, or all three. That way you can stay in the loop of when we're going live or if we have delays and stuff. Like I said, today I didn't release an announcement because I didn't realize how late everything was. But normally I put all my updates out in those areas. Done. I wonder if the same would apply to AI created by a personal AI if someone were able to make one that had that ability. I'm not sure, Dutton, because the thing is that really affects detection, right? So this was a problem in college when this first was released to the public. Students were using AI to answer all of their questions, to basically do all their schoolwork. So professors ended up getting tools to be able to detect AI generated content so they could say, okay, you fail. Even though all your answers are correct, you used AI to generate it. We're going to fail you on your test or whatever. Now, if you use your own AI model, I don't know if the detection system would be able to tell if it was AI generated or not, because you're not using a mainstream model. So I don't really know how that works, but at the same time, like I said, if you try to copyright something, I believe at this point they're going to ask you if it was created with AI, and if you tick that yes box, they're not going to allow you to copyright it. Trapper, the copyright laws always get weird. Yeah, they are weird. The copyright laws are very weird. When I was in college for my music production audio engineering degree, we had to do months of training on copyright because there's fine lines. If you use it for like education or satire purposes, you're good. But If you are building off of someone else's content, like say you take a picture of Pikachu and you put a wrapper chain on it and a hat kicked all sideways, you can't say that belongs to you now just because you altered the image because you use somebody else's copyrighted material to build off of it. And so, yeah, copyright gets real messy. Meta, ghostwriters, yeah. What's up, Murdercom? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Pag? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Guess Who? What's up, Trisha? You have a robot vacuum? I'd like to get me one of those little things. I can't think what it's called right now. I bet Klaus Daniels would tear it up. But I'd like to get one of those little robot things. They're like $300. I don't understand why, though. You buy a full-size vacuum for like $80. But you get one of those little circles that float around cleaning your carpet and shit. They're $300. Like, I don't know why it's like that, but I want one. What's up, Alex? Happy freedom? Alex, so you're saying that you could sue somebody for selling Pikachu cake? No. But you could sue somebody for, well, you can't. It'd have to be Atlantic or whoever owns Pokemon would be able to sue anybody doing the same kind of depiction. Like if they made a cartoon and had Pikachu in it, they could sue. But if you took that image and you put it on a birthday cake, probably not. Because as far as I know, Pokemon doesn't make birthday cakes. That's the other thing about copyright. If you take a movie like Scarface and he's, screaming at the bad guys, and you take that audio clip of him screaming at the bad guys and you turn around and put it in your new rap song, you do not have to pay copyright for that because it was a video. It was tangible as a video and you converted it into audio. Now, even though it's audio in video, that's considered post-production. That's not the same thing as a musical piece. It's like I said, it's very messy. It gets very messy. Same thing like if you made a sculpture of Pikachu with your bare hands and it was made out of marble, I'm pretty sure you could not be sued for it because Pokemon themselves do not create marble statues. So you're able to convert it between tangible, physical, like the way it's physically exists in the world, but you just can't replicate it. And it's real messy. You got to learn about copyright and stuff to know all the limitations of it. But yeah. Cam, it's in the description. Okay, so you got to use the Linktree link. I don't have it by itself, but go through the Linktree link and it's in there. Discord, Telegram, all that stuff is. Cinderella, I need a robot maid. Yeah, I need a robot chef. What's up, Steve S? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Tactical? Tactical, no one will ever be able to tell the difference between real and artificial intelligence. Between it tracking our every move and invading our privacy, people will fall victim to glorified scams. Absolutely. There's a weird software that's available to me right now because of my graphics card, where if I turn this on, it's a privacy software. And every day this little pop-up happens on my screen. But if I turn it on, my camera will watch my eyes and it will only reveal parts of the screen that my eyes are looking at. And it's considered a privacy software. So if someone else is sitting around me, they can't see my whole screen. They would only be able to see what I'm actually looking at. And as I move my eyes, it will kind of shine a spotlight and reveal those parts of the screen based on where my eyes are looking as the camera's looking at my face. I don't want any part of that, so I don't have that shit turned on. But I thought that was pretty mind-blowing. That's just free software out there. What's up, Knives? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Zero? Happy freedom to you. Guess now with the auto-tune voice issue, you can't actually copyright the actual voice. There's so much stuff beyond auto-tune. Now they got Melodyne. They got other things that are like Melodyne where you can actually take vocals and you can adjust them to make sure it fits in key. And then when you finalize it, it sounds perfect. It just sounds like someone singing perfect. It doesn't sound robotic like auto-tune. We have too much technology and not enough authenticity at this point. Anyways, let's go ahead and move forward. Like I said, AG Pam Bondi announces offload of 509 million doll hairs in illegal drugs. They got a big bust that happened. Of course, it's going to have Kash Patel in this video as well. He was a part of it. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you hooligans really quick, if you would like to participate in Free Speech Saturday, make sure you post all of your memes over on Discord or on jeffmaclive.com. Just hop in the group chats on either platform. You'll see the tabs labeled memes. Drop what you got and we'll shout you out, as we're making Saturdays more fun. Let me get this pulled up really quick. Got a nice drug bust here, but still no Epstein files. I don't know. Either way, hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get into this. I'm glad they'll scour to the end of the earth to try and find these drug dealers, but what about the bad guys hanging out at Epstein Island? When are they going to do something about those guys? And Kash Patel, I got faith, but man, he went up there and was like, he's got his sunglasses all on and shit, and he's like, just don't look at me. Just don't look at me while I'm up here doing this. How many drugs do you guys find? They were like, it's a rough estimate. Yeah, I bet it is. Check their pockets. Lift your t-shirt up. What you got tucked in your pants there. Anyways, let me see where we're at. Trump administration to begin screening border crossers social media for anti-Semitism. It's interesting that they're looking for anti-Semitism, but they don't look for like anti-Americanism. They'd find Democrats left and right, but either way, this is what's coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat, see what your hooligans think about Pam Bondi and Kash Patel busting $509 million worth of illegal drugs. Josh 1776, you never heard of that? That's what they call him up here. Josh 1776, it's called cheesin'. Like on South Park when Kenny was huffing cat piss, they were calling it cheesin'. He was all hallucinating, and it was kind of like a spin-off from the movie Heavy Metal. Josh 1776, this is crazy. What happened to free speech? Investigating for criticizing a foreign government? Well, and they're trying to tie it to border crossers. They're putting it in the perspective of if there's a border crosser here, they're trying to get visas or they're trying to come here legally, then they're going to check their social media to look for anti-Semitism, I guess. And again, this seems like an attack on free speech, but they're trying to say, no, it's not, because we're not doing it to you. We're going to do it to border crossers that want to come here. Which, again, why wouldn't you look for like anti-Americanism? Why wouldn't you look for people who are saying bad things about America since they're trying to come here? That seems really weird, but yep. Government is very interested on cracking down on free speech. Jay Spray Cash kind of looks like he always has the sniffles. Well, he's going to for a while now. They just got $500 million worth of drugs. What's up, Let's Go Brandon? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Boosted Flames? Happy freedom to you. Silver Wolf, check the White House. Appeal to heaven. Happy freedom to you. Epstein list should be number 1 on the list. That's part of the major problem. I agree. And that's what they said they were going to do. They were like, oh, we're going to release the Epstein files. Oh, we're going to take all the bad guys and send them to prison and blah, 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 blah. But nobody's been arrested from the Epstein files. And they know all that information. They have all the information. They haven't released it to us. They haven't made any arrests. And they don't even provide excuses. They just don't talk about it. They're just hoping to God that we forget all about it. Too old to care. Why are they acting like they've been bumping uglies? I don't know, too old to care. I was kind of getting those vibes too. I think Kash Patel and Pam Bondi spent a lot of time together. Boost of Flames, they're all coked out. Yeah, we stopped it. That is kind of what it looked like. Meta sunglasses, yeah. Cashiertel looked like he was a little high there. Maybe not, but they had to validate that it was actually drugs and not baking goods. They were just trying to bake a cake. Come on, man. Guess who? Good. Now send in the F-22s and A-10s to clean out the compounds Mexico does nothing about. Yeah. Well, it's interesting that they stopped talking about the tunnels, too. Because they were talking about how they're discovering new tunnels for the border crossers and what do they call them, coyotes or whatever, the cartel bringing them in illegally. Now they're using these underground tunnels. Well, they talked about that for one day and then they just stopped talking about it. Like, okay. What's up, Bloopers? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Mana? Happy freedom to you. Torque, happy freedom. The way they pointed out how pure it was a little sus. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They had to sample a little bit of it. They were like, it's pure. It is uncut. There is nothing else in this. Oh, yeah, there's no fentanyl in it yet? Oh, okay. All right. What's up, Magic Moon? Happy freedom. His eyes were bloodshot from all the weed. He needs some sunglasses. What's up, Janny? Happy freedom. What's up, Mike Ingalls? Happy freedom. Guess I'm not sure if it's pure. Let's try again. Yeah. All right, hooligans. We'll get into this next one. Like I said, Trump administration to begin screening border crossers' social media for anti-Semitism. I'm sure this is how it starts. Can't get enough censorship over on social media. Hit that like button if you got one, and let's get into this.
The Trump administration is planning to screen people seeking green cards and student visas for anti-Semitism. The Department of Homeland Security's Citizenship and Immigration Services announced it will begin considering immigrants' anti-Semitic posts on social media when approving requests for lawful permanent residence and visas. DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs Tricia McLaughlin says, quote, Secretary Noem has made it clear that anyone who thinks they can come to America and hide behind the First Amendment to advocate for anti-Semitic violence and terrorism, think again. You are not welcome here. The screening will begin immediately, according to the DHS, and will involve looking at comments made online and instances of physical harassment of Jewish individuals. The announcement came more than a month after it was revealed the State Department used AI to go after visa recipients already in the United States who expressed sympathy for Hamas and other terrorist groups. The rollout came as the Trump administration moved to deport Mahmoud Khalil, a green card holder and recent graduate of Columbia University, who helped lead protests over Israel's war in Gaza. The AI program has raised First Amendment concerns. Free speech and Arab American groups view the Gaza focus as a slippery slope that could conflate pro-Palestinian sentiment with support for Hamas.
Well, just a short little video there. Searching the internet, I'm sure they'll use AI to do it, looking for anti-Semitism. I don't know, they should be worried about terrorism. Anti-Americanism, there's a lot more than just anti-Semitism out there. Not that I'm defending it, but there's a lot of stuff out there they should be worrying about. And again, if they're going to try and apply this to people who are coming here to try and become legal one way or another here in America, you should be worrying about them screaming death to America more than worrying about how they feel about Israel or those kind of people, right? You don't want them to hate anybody, but at the same time, you got free speech. So it's in the realm of free speech to not like someone. Once you start doing a call to action saying you want bad things to happen to people, that's where you're no longer really in the free speech world anymore. You're starting to make threats or call hits on people and stuff like that, which is all of that's illegal. It's not covered under free speech. But to say, oh, we're only looking for anti-Semitism. If they have it, we're not going to let them into the country. So if they burn American flags and they say fuck America, then they can come here? That doesn't make sense, but okay. I don't know. It is definitely a worry about them trying to crack down on free speech, but we'll see how it all turns out. Next up, judge orders Trump White House to restore access to the Associated Press. Now, we know that the Associated Press was kicked out of the Oval Office lives. They were kicked out of special events. They were kicked out of Air Force One. briefings and stuff like that because they refuse to acknowledge the Gulf of America. They want to continue to call it the Gulf of Mexico, even though it's legally been changed. And they were kicked out. Now they're going to have to be brought back in, which I don't know. They're trying to claim that it's a manipulation of press, which maybe it is. But at the same time, they consider those specific briefings, like I mentioned, at the Oval Office, Air Force One, and stuff like that. That's not available to the public. So therefore, it's not a manipulation of freedom of press because freedom of press exists in the public. And so it's kind of a controversial thing. But this judge, another judge standing in the way of Trump's orders, is saying that they got to bring Associated Press back in. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about the Trump administration screening social media looking for anti-Semitism. What's up, man Rogers? Happy freedom to you. Guess AP, NBC rooters all need to be kicked? Yeah. They're all soft, and they like to twist every little thing and play victim, play semantics. It doesn't help anything. Literally doesn't benefit anything. Just their pockets. Zero pro-Palestinian is pro-Hamas. Yeah. Yep. Russell, the anti-Semitism is a problem and its ties to terrorism. Yeah. I just think that they should broaden their focus there. I don't think they should be limiting free speech, but if they're looking for indicators for people maybe tied to terrorism or tied to foreign governments and stuff, I think they should broaden their scope and not just be so focused on only anti-Semitism. Hair juicer, sir, we found 510 million in drugs. Nah, I think you found only 509 million. Yeah, that's what I think happened, hair juicer. Appeal to heaven, did we ever find out if there's gold in Fort Knox or not? No, they haven't gone to Fort Knox yet, not that I know of, but I always think it's really interesting when they do that. They're like, hey, we're talking about Fort Knox. We might go to Fort Knox. We're going to see if there's gold in Fort Knox. We're all going to go to Fort Knox. Elon's like, yeah, I want to go to Fort Knox. And then they just didn't fucking go. And then nothing happened. And now it's been 2 weeks and they stopped talking about it. They did the same thing with FEMA. Oh, we're going to get rid of FEMA. Oh, really? Well, aren't we going to need that? No, we're not going to need that. FEMA sucks ass. Oh, okay. But FEMA's still around. It's weird that they do that. They do a lot of publicity for certain topics and then nothing happens. I mean, look at the damn Epstein files. Stuff like that. That, oh, here's phase 1. Okay, well, where's phase 2? They don't even talk about phase 2. They're like, maybe a year or two. We'll give you another phase. We'll just slow walk you till you forget about it. I want to know if there's gold there too. Mystical inciting violence, yeah. Free speech is it doesn't cover inciting violence. Screaming Eagle, I think Cash has a habit. He might. Let's go, Brandon. I think the gold has been gone since we left the gold standard in 71, I think. I bet so too. I bet it's empty there. Maybe that's why they didn't go. Maybe they were going to go and they got a phone call and they were like, do not show up right now. We do not have gold here. Do not show up with the damn cameras. Give us a couple months. Let us figure out how to stage some things. And then you guys can come in and do a little tour and we'll act like everything's fine. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll definitely cover it if they decide to go do the thing. Zero, nope. Haven't heard from them. Murdercom, you think Melania was on the island? Why would Melania be on the Epstein Island? What's up, Killer J? Happy freedom to you. So we had a rally in town on Saturday in front of the courthouse. Yeah, I heard that. If I'd have known, I would have went and stuck a camera in their face, but I didn't realize it was happening. It was supposed to be a nationwide rally. Yeah, the hands off rally. Killer J. It was so annoying you could hear it was 2 blocks away. Yeah, if they decide to do that again, I'm going to go stick a camera in their face. What's up, Agent O? Happy Freedom to you. What's up, Itchy? What's up, Corn Pop? Happy Freedom. Agent O gold paint on bricks. Yeah, that's what they're doing right now. They got 16 border crossers side by side painting the bricks up, trying to get it all good. So when President Trump and Elon walk into Fort Knox, they got something to show everybody. I want them to do a gold test. I want to see them cut a brick in half and then do the scratch test on the insides. Prove to us that's real gold. Steve S. Maybe they went and it was empty and they can't tell the truth about it. Just saying. Yeah, Steve S. We're on the same page here. Matt Rogers, they got to wait for the infinity mirrors to be installed at Fort Knox before they go. Yeah. Do a little sleight of hand there. Just have a single table with bricks on it and it just looks like it's shelves full. Could be. Told to care JD needs to put a slap down on his buddy Cash. I mean, I'm glad that they're, busting drug dealers and stuff. We don't need fentanyl and crap like that in the country. We just don't. We got enough problems. But what about the Epstein files? Like, we got pedophile monsters that are powerful people. They're wealthy people. They have lots of control over companies, and God only knows what they're all connected to. We also know that they're connected to, like, foreign countries and probably foreign leaders. They even talk about, what's his name? Prince somebody who's always in the news, and his wife is like a fucking movie star or whatever. They mention them with the Epstein files. So it's like royalty may be involved. No, we're not going to arrest those guys. And like I said, they have all the files. They know who was on the island. Yeah, it's great. Bust drug dealers. But how about the real monsters? Let's arrest the real monsters and hold them accountable. The other thing that makes me mad is they do all this shit and then they go on TV and they go, thank God we have the most transparent administration in history. Oh, that's great. But we want things. We voted for those things and we're waiting for you to give us those things. Go arrest those people connected to Epstein Island. It's that simple. Jay Spray, was the Detroit for the hands-off? I think there was hands-off protesters in Detroit. I don't know how many there were. The big ones was Chicago. Oh, where was the other one? There was another one. It might have been New York that we had covered. DC was a big one. DC and Chicago were like the biggest ones. They had like 20,000, supposedly 20,000 people there. And again, we covered a lot of videos Monday and Tuesday. I believe it was Monday and Tuesday, where they went through and interviewed individuals at these hands-off protests. And they were like, why are you here? And they're like, well, because Trump's a fascist. And they're like, well, why is he a fascist? And then they got to start checking their little pre-wrote answers and shit like that, their little cue card, their pamphlet for the protest. And they're like, well, and the interviewer's like, you got to read while you're here? You don't know why you're here? You don't know why you're mad? Hands off what? And they're like, well, I'm not answering questions, because they don't actually know why they're there. They were bored. They didn't have shit to do. And it was Saturday. So they were like, hey, let's go do the thing. They don't know nothing about nothing. Bunch of idiots out there, paid protesters and whatnot. Anyways, let's get into this next video. Like I said, judge orders Trump White House to restore access to the Associated Press. All right, hooligans, hit that like button and let's get these chats filled up and let's get this rolling.
A U.S. judge has ordered President Donald Trump's White House to lift access restrictions imposed on the Associated Press over the news agency's decision to continue to refer to the Gulf of Mexico in its coverage. The ruling by Trump appointee, U.S. District Judge Trevor McFadden, restores AP access to the Oval Office, Air Force One, and events held at the White House while the AP's lawsuit moves forward. The AP sued 3 senior Trump aides in February, alleging the restrictions were an attempt to coerce the press into using the administration's preferred language. Lawyers for the Trump administration have argued the AP does not have a right to what the White House has called special access to the president. McFadden said his ruling will not go into effect until Sunday, to give the Trump administration time to appeal his decision. The judge is expected to issue a final ruling in coming months. That ruling could also be subject to appeal.
Well, I really don't think they have a case here. They're trying to say, like it says in the video there, they're trying to say that this is like a manipulation of freedom of press, that they're restricting press from being able to cover what's happening. But when they were kicked out, Caroline Leavitt admitted that they were kicked out of private areas, places not available to the public, like the Oval Office or Air Force One. So it's not a freedom of press situation. They had the privilege of being a part of those press briefings or those lives, and they blew it. They wanted to continue to mock the Gulf of America. They wanted to twist words and be snotty and rude and things like that. And well, they lost their privilege of being there. And so, they want to start a lawsuit and cry really hard, oh, the Trump administration wants to silence freedom of press, which obviously isn't true. And so I don't think they even have a leg to stand on when it comes to their lawsuit that they were just talking about. But it sounds like they're going to regain their access, probably just out of good faith, just to be like, okay, well, unless you guys want to be kicked out again, we'll go ahead and let you come back. But you start talking crazy, we're going to kick you out again. And we've also seen that they're a part of the press briefing room. When Caroline Leavitt comes out, Associated Press is there because that's press. Everything else, like I mentioned, the Oval Office and all of that they mentioned in the video, that's not to the public. You have to be, it's a privilege to be there. So I don't know. I think it was hilarious when they got kicked out. I think it's hilarious that they think they're going to win a lawsuit with these bogus claims, but either way. Next up, Trump to fine border crossers up to $1,000 daily for defying deportation order. Now, I don't know exactly how this is going to go. They're already undocumented. How do you know how long they've been here? You just got to go by what they tell you because you don't even know who they are. But either way, more incentive for these border crossers to self-deport, because if they self-deport, they can come back legally if they choose to. If they don't self-deport and ICE has to pick them up and put them on their head, well, they can never come back once they are kicked out. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about the White House dealing with Associated Press and them crying really hard about it. Jay Spray, I'm starting to get bored with life. Nah, don't say that. Anytime I feel bored with life, something tragic happens, and then I'm like, oh man, I wish I could just have a normal day. I've actually been going through some shit for like the last 7 months, and hopefully I'm coming to the other end of it. Yeah. Boredom is good, Jay Spray. It's good. Here, user, don't come to my house. I'll sue you. I was thinking the other day, I wish I knew more about lawsuits because I bet you could make a living suing people. I bet you could because there's no accountability anywhere. So you know what that means? Lots of opportunity for lawsuits. And so I might have to just try it out, just go hire an attorney and just figure out the first person I can sue and see how it goes. Because I bet you could make good money doing that. Like I said, there's no accountability. So why don't you hold people accountable? Just why not? Fuck them. They want to mistreat you or hurt the way you work or damage your car because they don't know how to drive. Sue the shit out of those people. And I bet they'll never treat anybody else like that again. And maybe that's what we have to do. I'm surprised we haven't had vigilante justice. Not that I'm advocating for it. But it seems like nobody ever goes after the bad guys. And the longer that goes on, the more bad guys we seem to have. We need accountability, but it ain't showing up. We can keep praying for it, but it ain't happened yet. Maybe if we all start suing people, straighten it out. Fix it. I don't know. It's just an idea I had the other day. What's up, 10 Man? Happy freedom to you. Josh 1776, I have a back injury that isn't diagnosed. Get a job that does no safety training. Work one shift. Go to the hospital and get workers' comp. Yeah, one time I was working at this pizza place. I got called in on my day off. And when I walked through the door, it has like this metal frame all the way around the door because it's a security door. And I slipped and I grabbed the wall. And when I did, this piece of metal went right into my hand. And I had to slide my hand off this metal piece because it had gone inside. And so I had just clocked in. I went on through the topper on my car because I was a driver. Come back in, split my hand open. It was so bad I was passing out. There's blood running down my arm and stuff. I had to be drove to the hospital, which wasn't far away. Went to the hospital, racked up a bill, had to get stitches and all of that. And the owner of the company gave them all my personal information. I wouldn't tell them who I was. I just kept giving them, I was like, this is the name. And I was telling them the business name. And they were like, well, obviously that's not your name. And I was like, well, that's the name you're going to write down because I'm not paying for this shit. I was hurt at work. You're going to charge them the bill. You ain't going to charge me. Well, they called the business and the business gave them all of my personal information. So the hospital started trying to charge me for what should have been workman's comp. And I just wouldn't let it slide. And so I started threatening them about dealing with my personal information because they said that I had prior records. And when the business gave them my name, they combined it with prior records and just added my bill to it, which isn't legal because anybody could do that. You could go to the hospital and say my name, and now I got to pay your bill. That doesn't make sense. And so I kept threatening lawsuits and stuff. And eventually the business called me and was like, they keep trying to charge me this $2,100 because you went to the hospital. I'm like, yeah, bitch, because I got hurt at work. And I was like, you're going to pay it or I'm going to show up and take it from you. It's going to be one way or the other. And he ended up paying it. And I was like, stupid. People love being bad people, but they want to live in a good world. Don't make any sense. Russell, it's against HIPAA laws. Yeah, it's because people do whatever they want. Like I'm saying, there's no accountability. We're going to have to start suing people. Guess should have told them that your name was Hector Manuel Ortiz and you were a migrant. Well, we didn't have border crosser problems to the degree we have today. That's what I'm going to say. They're going to be like, what are you here for? And they're going to be like, name, Jose. I'm from El Salvador. Just do the thing. Just do the thing. Just charge the country. It'll be fine. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Jay Spray. 10 Man, did you get the driveway done today? Man, what about KJP not calling on Simon during the White House press conferences? Isn't that silence of the press? Sort of. It kind of is. They didn't restrict. Well, they did restrict him from being there. They actually did revoke his press pass for a while. I mean, it's hard to say, 10 Man. But yeah, it's definitely a situation. It's weird that we don't really see Simon. What is his last name? I can't think of his name. Simon something. But we don't really see him with Caroline Leavitt, and that's a full room. These people are like sitting on each other's lap for Trump press briefings. But yeah, haven't noticed Simon Atiba. That's his name, Simon Atiba. I haven't noticed him in the press briefing room. I bet Caroline Leavitt would call on him. He's an anti-Trumper for some reason. He was always talking bad about the Biden administration because of the dumb shit they were doing. And then Trump started running for office, and all of a sudden Simon just became an anti-Trumper out of nowhere. Maybe he was like that before, but I didn't really know who Simon was until, I mean, not that I know him personally, but I didn't know who he was until we were living through the Biden years and stuff. So I don't know. I'm kind of surprised that he doesn't show up for Caroline Leavitt. Man, oh, okay. Yeah, you better just take a day off. You worked your ass off yesterday. Stoner, I like the Rumble chat on the phone, but just not on the app. I use the browser. That's what I do too, Stoner. I don't have very good luck using the Rumble app, but going on the browser, like I got Brave on my phone, and I just go to Rumble through that and don't seem to have any problems. I've noticed that sometimes the video will skip. Like every 10 or 15 seconds, it'll like skip or it'll glitch. It doesn't do that on the website either. It only does it on the app, at least in my experience. Brian, nobody on Epstein Island will get in trouble, and that's how the world is. Meanwhile, I just hope that Trump continues to improve the U.S. Yeah, me too. Well, Trump seems to be the only one actually doing what he said he was going to do. The only reason we don't get the things that he promised us is because these district judges continue to stand in the way as President Trump signs EOs almost every day. But like Kash Patel and all those guys, they made promises, and they show that they're doing something every day, but they're not doing what we want them to do, and I don't really like that. Meta, hip is a joke. Yeah, they showed us that during the lockdowns. PAG, paid protesters. Yeah. Yeah, they don't know anything. They're just a bunch of dumbasses. Murdercom, that sucks. I should have fought for workers' comp when I broke my collarbone. Thing is, though, I didn't yet clock in, but I was on the property, hit a massive pothole in the yard, and lost all structural integrity, and my front wheel went down hard. Maybe I had a case. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you could have got workman's comp, but you could have sued them because you were on the property. Being clocked in is, I think, what makes it workman's comp. If you pull up in the parking lot, you got to go to work in 10 minutes. You get out of the car and you trip in a pothole and break your knee or something in the driveway. You don't get workman's comp because you're not on the clock. But you could sue them because you are on their property, and their property is what caused you to be injured. But then again, we're talking about lawsuits. I don't really know how suing people works. I know you need a lawyer. I know that. Cinderella, it's not just that Congress and House are not helping. Yeah, Cinderella. Yeah, they're not helping with anything. Like we've been saying for a week or two, Speaker Mike Johnson came out and said he was going to do something about the district judges standing in the way of the Trump agenda, and then did nothing. He said he was going to, and then he didn't do anything. And then the Supreme Court ended up overruling on those district judges when it came to the Illegal Aliens Act or whatever that's called. And there was something else. Oh, hiring back the probationary federal workers that were terminated in mass. They originally said that a district judge said, no, you got to hire those people back that were probationary, but Supreme Court just ruled yesterday or the day before, no, you do not have to hire those people back. And so, thankfully the Supreme Court stood up, but originally Mike Johnson said he was going to do something and didn't do anything. So, Steve S., you have to be on the clock for workman's comp? Yeah, that's what I figured. Alex, he gave KJP a hard time. I like Simon. Yeah, I like Simon too. He's weird when he talks about Trump, though. He sounds brainwashed when he's talking bad about Trump. What's up, Ball? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Savage? Josh 1776. My craving for sour gummy worms right now is max. I could kill some. I've never craved sour stuff before. You might have to take a trip to the store. All right, we're going to move forward here. Like I said, this next one is Trump to fine border crossers up to $1,000 daily for defying deportation orders. It's coming up next, but first I want to remind you hooligans really quick. If you would like to join the membership program over on Rumble, all you have to do is click that big red subscribe button right below where you type in the chat. Now, if you're on Android and using the Rumble app, you're unable to see that big red subscribe button. So you got to go to the website. You have to go to rumble.com, come to the live, hop in the chat. And like I said, right below where you type in the chat, you will see that big red subscribe button. Click that button and jump through the hoops, and your name will be highlighted as an official Rumble hooligan. You'll have access to our custom emojis. We got chapstick emojis, screaming goat emojis, Klaus Daniels emojis, President Trump emojis, and more. It's a lot of fun during the live, especially during a Trump live. So definitely go join the membership program over on Rumble. Let's get this polled up. Not only are we recommending these border crossers to self-deport, but now we're going to hit them with fines, $1,000 a day. Hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get into this.
Trump administration is clamping down on immigration across multiple agencies as the IRS strikes a deal to share taxpayer data with Homeland Security. The administration has a stern warning for immigrants: leave the country or pay massive daily fines. News Nation's Tom Dempsey is on Capitol Hill. So, Tom, what's the significance of these fines?
Hey, good morning, Anna. The significance of these fines is that anyone facing deportation orders here in the United States right now may see fines up to $1,000 a day and risk getting their property seized if they don't self-deport. As part of this plan, 1.4 immigrants here in the country facing deportation orders will be the target of this plan. The Trump team is warning anyone here illegally to self-deport using the CBP Home app or risk paying those fines. Reuters reports the administration plans plans to retroactively apply these fines for up to 5 years, which means some of these immigrants could owe over $1 million. But as part of this plan, it will involve using a law that was enacted back in 1996 and actually used by President Trump during his first term. But then President Biden came into office and rescinded that policy and those fines. Anna?
And Tom, what are we learning about other agencies working to crack down on illegal immigration?
Well, there was a big update recently with the IRS. First off, the acting director of the IRS is announcing that they'll be stepping down. But we also know of a deal between the IRS and the Department of Homeland Security to share information together. And to dive into this a little bit further, according to the Associated Press, part of this agreement, ICE can submit names of people they suspect to be in the U.S. illegally for the IRS to cross-reference using tax records. This is part of the IRS's information sharing agreement with the Department of Homeland Security, which allows DHS to get data like the addresses of illegal immigrants ordered for removal within the past 90 days. Critics say the agreement violates privacy laws. But in a statement to News Nation, the acting assistant secretary of the Department of Homeland Security said that this information sharing agreement can help better identify public safety threats as well as better enforce immigration laws. Anna?
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to Join In.
Okay. So they're going to use IRS data because they tell these border crossers, I should have put the SSN number stuff right before that now that I think about it. Either way, they bring these border crossers in illegally. They give them social security numbers illegally. They tell them to go get jobs with those social security numbers, and they encourage them to pay taxes. Now they're going to take their information from their tax records, they're going to give them to ICE, and they're going to have ICE go and pick these people up. Now, if they don't get picked up because of one reason or another, they'll be charged up to $1,000 a day and even have their belongings confiscated. Now, it's crazy to think that they would have belongings in the first place, considering they're here illegally. And we got to show ID just to buy a can of spray paint. So I don't know how they obtain all this stuff. Cars, houses, whatever it is they obtain. Obviously, they're not doing it legally because they don't have the necessary documentation. But either way, the government's going to go confiscate their stuff, charge them a bunch of fines, and deport them. That's pretty interesting. Talking about fucking some people over. The government will do it better than anybody else. Anyways, pretty crazy stuff. Next up, President Trump participates in photo opportunity with racing champions. This is from earlier today. He was answering questions after doing his photo op, and I figured we might as well listen to President Trump answering these questions because it's the closest thing we're going to have to a press briefing today. One thing they do mention, and that's kind of interesting, is that there is now going to be a 90-day pause on tariffs. The reason that's interesting is because a couple days ago, we had covered how there was news that broke that there was going to be a 90-day pause on tariffs, and the White House came out and said, no, that is not true. There is not going to be a 90-day pause on tariffs, and here we are, it's Wednesday, and now there is a 90-day pause. So either there was leaked information, or maybe the White House was like, you know what? That was a good idea. Maybe we should do that. I'm not sure, but it's kind of controversial. Either way, it's coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat. See what you Hooligans think about the IRS forfeiting information to ICE in order to catch border crossers, as well as the Trump administration charging border crossers up to $1,000 a day and potentially even seizing their stuff unless they self-deport. Thank you, Snooks. I appreciate the compliment. Russell, I like the data sharing. Yeah, it's all government stuff, so I don't know. It doesn't really make a difference to me. I mean, I wouldn't like if they were doing it to us, but at the same time, who's saying they're not? You know, they do whatever they want. It's the fucking government. Josh 1776, the only thing that border crossers have is other people's shit. You're right. You're right. Screaming Eagle, good. Yep, that's right. What's up, JF? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Cheddar Steve? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Ghostly? Zero, oh, now they're worried about privacy laws. Show us your papers. Yeah. What's up, AR-16? Happy Freedom? Deport them all. Absolutely. I wonder, they need to have a running clock, like a counter, just like we have for the national debt, so we can tell how many border crossers have been deported. Because they give us little numbers here and there. They're like, oh, it's almost 40,000, or it's 50,000, or 55,000. That is a long way from 25 million. JF, yeet the grandma and the kids, all of them. Yep. The whole family can be deported. Keeping families together. They want to cry about kids in cages. No, we're going to let them all go. They can all go together. Totally care. Payback's a bitch. Yep. JF, they're going to owe the coyotes and the government. Yeah, they're getting double whammied. Guess who the IRS? New illegal, who dis? Yeah. I wonder how it's going to accelerate the mass deportation. What's up, Robin Hood? Happy Freedom to you. Robin Hood, IRS tracks down my eBay sales. I mean, what can I say? Yeah. That's why I pay the cost. A lot of people bitch at me because I pay taxes every year. I'm not paying taxes because I want to. I'm paying taxes because I have to in order to keep those people the fuck away from me and not knocking on my door. You know, we already got Fed boys knocking on people's doors because your memes are too funny. I'm not going to give them any reason to come bother me. They leave me the hell alone. I even tell my tax guy, I'm like, look, I will pay them extra as long as they leave me alone. He's like, no, they'll actually come after you if you pay extra. I'm like, do you see why I don't want these people in my life? I had girlfriends like that where just you damned if you do and you damned if you don't. And it's like, I don't need any more of that in my life. What's up, Larry? Happy Freedom to you. Steve asked, no pause on China's tariffs. There were the problem in the first place, so it makes sense. Yeah. No, China's got like 105 or 104, some crazy number. It's like, I want to say it's 104% tariffs that we just slapped onto China. They brought ours up to like 85% or something like that. It'll be okay. It'll work itself out. Snooks, you can charge them, but they can't pay the fine. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is I assume that a lot of these people will owe money, but they won't be able to pay it. Let's get into this next video. Like I said, this is President Trump participating in a photo opportunity with racing champions. This is from earlier today. We're not going to exactly play the part where they're hanging out with all the racing champions. You will see them in the background, but as it is, it's going to be a little over 10 minutes with him answering questions. But like I said, this is the closest thing we're going to have to a press briefing today. So I figured might as well do the thing. Let's go ahead and get this pulled up. Now you should be able to see the race cars and all of that. So it's not like you're really missing out on anything. Bunch of rich people rubbing elbows. But we're here for the questions to be answered. Let me see. Come on, do the thing. Bam, right there. All right, hooligans, hit that like button to fill up the chats, and let's get into this.
Any questions while we're here? Yeah.
You started the morning saying be cool, and just a few hours later, there was a pause put in on the tariffs. Can you walk us through your thinking about why you decided to put a 90-day pause?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know. They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions, because we have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know the presidents, they wouldn't have done it. And it had to be done. What was happening to us on trade, not only with, you know, if you look at it, not only with China, but China was by far the biggest abuser in history, and others also, but somebody had to do it. They had to stop because it was not sustainable. Last year, China made $1 trillion off trade with the United States. That's not right. And now I've reversed it. It's for a short period of time, but We made $2 billion. We're making now $2 billion a day. And somebody had to do it. Roger actually said it. Charles Schwab was here a little while ago, one of the great financial people, and he said he's been waiting for 40 years for somebody to do what I did over the last month. And if you didn't do it, you wouldn't have a country. It wouldn't be sustainable. So I'm honored to have done it. And, look, nothing's over yet, but we have a tremendous amount of spirit from other countries, including China. China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quite to go about it. It's one of those things they don't know how quite. They're proud people. And President Xi's a proud man. I know him very well. And they don't know quite how to go about it, but they'll figure it out. They're in the process of figuring it out, but they want to make a deal. And we have many other countries, as you know, many more than 75. And they all want to come, and they want to come here, or they'll go to Commerce, or they'll go to Treasury. We have our great senators here and congressmen. They'll call John, they'll do somebody, they'll go through somebody, but they're all calling, how do we do this? They all want to make a deal. Somebody had to do what we did, and I did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate, because I told them if you retaliate, we're going to double it. And that's what I did with China, because they did retaliate. So we'll see how it all works out. I think it's going to work out amazing. I think that our country is going to be at the end of a year or shorter, but I think we're going to have something that nobody would have dreamt possible. A man like Roger Penske, I don't want to get him in trouble with China, so I won't, but he would know that someday you have to cut the bow and you have to do what you have to do, right, Roger? And that's what I did, and I'm very happy to have done it.
Mr. President,
was there anyone
the Prime Minister of Greece just told Breitbart's Matt Boyle that he thinks absolutely the European Union and the United States could work out a trade deal that's win-win and, quote, mutually beneficial to both sides. What do you think about the Prime Minister's comments, and do you think a deal could be struck with the European Union?
First of all, I know him. He's a good man, and I appreciate his comments. Yeah, a deal could be made with every one of them. A deal's going to be made with China. A deal's going to be made with every one of them. And there'll be fair deals. I just want fair. They will be fair deals for everybody. But they weren't fair to the United States. They were sucking us dry, and you can't do that. We have $36 trillion of debt for a reason. We don't have it there for fun. They have it for a reason. And people took advantage of our country, and they ripped us off for decades. I've been thinking about this for decades. If you ever saw me on television, I was young like these guys. And those are good old days, I'll tell you, Roger. But I was like these guys, young, and I was talking about it. Nothing changed, and nothing was done about it. Then I did it. In my first term, I did it, and did it well. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China and others. And I started the process, but then we had to fix up from the COVID mess caused by China. We had to fix up from that, and we did a good job of doing it. And when we handed back the reins after a rigged election, and when we handed back the reins, the stock market was higher than it was before COVID coming in. So, we did a great job, but we didn't have time to do the big thing, which we're doing now. And it's, it's like a patient is sick. You have to do surgery. Patient is very, very sick. And Joe Biden handed us over a country that was in very serious trouble, economically and in every other way. They let China run away with things. They let other countries run away with things. And maybe worst of all, in a certain way, is what they did at the border. We had people pouring into our country by the millions. Many of them were murderers and drug lords and thieves and people from prisons from all over the world. And there were people from mental institutions, insane asylums. They were taking their mentally insane, and they were dumping them into our country. And I'll tell you, Tom Homan and Kristi Noem are doing a fantastic job in removing them. And now the courts, the Supreme Court just gave us numerous good rulings where we have to be able to get them out. You had other judges trying to take over the system. And think of it, they take over. They want these people coming back, Tren de Aragua from Venezuela, the Venezuela jails that cut off the fingers of a man in Colorado. They cut off his fingers because he called the police looking for help. They said, "Did you call the police?" He said, "Yes, I did." "Put your hand down," and they cut off the fingers. This is what they want to bring these people back now. And I want to thank the president of El Salvador for the job he's done, because that's the way it has to be done. And it's too bad. Yeah, please.
Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they've been talking about tariffs for decades. How come when these Democrat elites want tariffs, everything's hunky-dory, but when President Trump wants tariffs, all hell breaks loose? Do you see this double standard?
I love this guy. Whoever the hell that is. That's really nice. I appreciate that question. No, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, everybody knew you had to do it, but they never had the guts to do it. It does take guts. It even takes guts for our country to go through it. That's why I say be cool. They were saying about, just be cool. It's going to work out. It's going to work out, and it's working out. I can tell you, working out maybe faster than I thought. But I said it's going to take a little conditioning. It's a transition to. I think it's a transition to greatness. It's going to be greatness. Our country's going to be. There'll be nothing like it, and people investing in our country, they're going to do better than they've ever done before. We have more car manufacturers, Roger, coming into our country now. Speaking of cars. We've never seen anything like it. And they're coming in because of the election, but they're coming in because of the tariffs, because they don't want to pay 25 or 50 or whatever it may be. They don't want to pay that. They can't pay that. We had 3 cancellations in Mexico, building a plant. They're all coming into the United States. Canada, they're coming in. From China, they're coming in from everywhere. And that's just cars. We have chip makers coming. We're the biggest chip maker in the world from Taiwan, coming in, spending $3 billion to build plants, and mostly a big plant. This is a hell of a plant when you spend the kind of money there. That they're going to go $200 to $300 billion, not million. You know, you'd say million would be the right number. It's not $200 to $300 billion. Think of that, $300 billion. If you look at Apple is going to spend $500 billion building a plant. They wouldn't be doing that if I didn't do this. They'd just keep building them in China. And that's unsustainable. It's not a pleasant thing to do, but I appreciate the question. And, you know, interestingly, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, Crazy Nancy, they've wanted to do this for years, but they never had a president that had the guts to do it, because it does take guts, believe me.
Was it the bond markets that persuaded you to reverse course?
I was watching the bond market. The bond market is very tricky. I was watching it, but if you look at it now, it's beautiful. The bond market right now is beautiful. But yeah, I saw last night where people were getting a little queasy. I think everything had. Well, the big move wasn't what I did today. The big move was what I did on Liberation Day. We had Liberation Day in America. We're liberated from all of the horrible deals that were made, all of the horrible trade deals that were made. And I was helped by people just like this, senator, congressman, and friends, right? And we had great help in the Senate. Our Republican senators have been amazing. They stood tall. And likewise in the House. And John Thune has done an amazing job. Barrasso has done an amazing job. I can't think of a senator, really. We had tremendous support. We got a bill passed the other day with almost unanimous support in the Senate, and I think we're going to get that in the House, too. And I have to tell you that Mike Johnson is a great speaker. He's done a fantastic job. We had a majority of 1, now we have a majority of 7. And you don't realize how big 7 is until you have a majority of 1. 7 sounds like so much. But we're doing well. But Mike Johnson and John Thune have done a really great job.
Mr. President, how influenced your decision? Did you speak with anyone, Jamie Dimon? Did you speak with anyone?
Well, I watched Jamie Dimon on Maria Bartiromo's show this morning, and he was very good. He said that, actually made the statement to effect that something had to be done with the tariffs and trade. He said that. He said, look, at some point, but he said something has to be done with tariffs and trade. He understood it. He's very smart and very a genius financially. He's done a fantastic job at the bank. And he knows that. Everybody knows that. Anybody that's even a little bit smart knows it. It wasn't sustainable what was happening. Somebody had to pull the trigger. I was willing to pull the trigger. This should have been done long ago. Just like Biden should have stopped the border long ago. I mean, allowed 21 million people plus into our country, many of whom should never have been allowed out of prisons and jails. They came out of prisons and jails from all over the world. and now we're getting them out, bringing them back to their countries. But it's should have never been done. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Sir, would you consider exempting some U.S. companies, maybe some larger companies who have been hit hard in the markets the last few days during this 90 days?
As time goes by, we're going to take a look at it. There are some that have been hard. There are some that, by the nature of the company, get hit a little bit harder, and we'll take a look at that, yeah.
How do you determine it over the next 90 days?
Just instinctively, more than anything else. I mean, you almost can't take a pencil to paper. It's really more of an instinct, I think, than anything else.
What's your credibility like? Because you said that these tariffs would go in effect on Monday. You said no pause. And today there is a pause. So how can people believe your words today?
It's not a question of that. You have to have flexibility. I could say, here's a wall, and I'm going to go through that wall. I'm going to go through it no matter what. And keep going, and you can't go through the wall. Sometimes you have to be able to go under the wall, around the wall, or over the wall. These guys know that better than anybody, right? You got to go around them sometimes. You're not going to go through them. So I consider, I think in financial markets, because they change. Look how much it changed today. We went from, pretty moderate today, but over the last few days it looked pretty glum, to, I guess they say it was the biggest day in financial history. That's a pretty big change. And I think the word would be flexible. You have to be flexible. Like he's asking the question about some companies. Some companies, through no fault of their own, they happen to be in an industry that is more affected by these things than others. You have to be able to show a little flexibility. And I'm able to do that. I'm going to say hello to these champions because they are great champions. I got to say hello to them.
Okay. So that's President Trump from earlier today answering questions from the press. Lots of tariff talk. And like I said, they mentioned that he paused the tariffs for 90 days. Not on China, but either way, it's really controversial because earlier in the week, like I mentioned, they were talking about the tariffs. Monday, the tariffs, all the tariffs that he had listed last week went into effect Monday. Everybody knows, they were crying about the stock market. Oh, the stock market's going to crash, this, that, and the other. And apparently, while I want to say it was Fox Business, they were talking about the tariff talk and how the stock market was doing bad. And then there was another news agency, and they don't say who it was. I assume it was CNN or MSNBC or something like that. But they had said there was going to be a 90-day pause on the tariffs, and the stock market started going up. And the White House saw this happening and called in to Fox Business as they were beginning to report on it. And the White House said, no, that is not true. There is not going to be a 90-day pause on tariffs. So then Fox Business went ahead and said, no, we just got confirmation from the White House that 90-day pause is not true. And now here we are, it's Wednesday, and now all of a sudden we got a 90-day pause. So either there's a leaker, somebody leaked that information before it, came into effect, or maybe they thought it was a good idea. But it sounds kind of suspicious that they had mentioned 90-day pause on tariffs earlier this week. White House claimed it was not true. 3 days later, now it is true. That's kind of a weird thing. But either way, like I said, that was the closest thing that we were going to have to a press briefing today. Caroline Levitt didn't go live, so we might as well hear the news from the president. Next up, many black people and women will not be able to vote if we require ID. This douchebag is from The View. I can't think of what her... I think it's Sunny. Sunny Ho. I believe that's who this is. But they're saying that voter ID is oppression. And it's coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat. See what you hooligans think about President Trump answering questions from the press. Snooks, yeah. I'm watching them. I was fairly certain they were a troll. Too old to care. Where's Bobby? I don't know. I thought I saw him in the chat, but maybe not. What's up, Dutton? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Plastic Quack? Happy freedom to you. Done. I couldn't handle being in DC Every time there's a video from there, there's sirens going off. It would drive me insane. Yeah, it's because crime is so bad there and nobody does anything about it. Ooh. Appeal to heaven. Apple is Bill Gates on the Epstein list, so how does that work? Yeah, appeal to heaven. Like I'm saying, I don't know what I did to my eye. They know everybody that was on the Epstein list. They know every single person that was connected to it. They have all of the information that a person could have. And then we got President Trump out here doing deals with people that potentially could be on the list that have visited the island. So I don't know. Maybe a lot of this stuff is why they haven't released the Epstein information, is because then they wouldn't be making that money from people like Bill Gates or Bill Clinton or any of those other people that are suspected to have been on the island. It makes their business dealings look less suspicious. So maybe that's why they haven't told us the truth yet. I don't know. All we can do is speculate because they haven't given us anything. Josh 1776, if they posted the list, it'd be considered anti-Semitic. Maybe. It's hard to say. Happy for him, Tony Rich. Steve asks, I like the pause. Best to ease into it instead of throwing the whole world into shock. Yeah, and it seems to be benefiting us. They said the stock market's going up. Plus, now there's 70 world leaders that are interested in meeting with President Trump to discuss bringing tariffs down to zero. Now, our tariffs are reciprocal, so if they want to make tariffs to us zero, likelihood that we would make theirs zero. And so we'll see how it goes. 70 world leaders. We already seen Benjamin Netanyahu show up. They got their tariffs discussed. We'll see who's next. What's up, Teasel? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Energy Woman? Happy freedom to you. Robin Hood. You have a concealed right. What holster do you like? It's hard to say, Robin Hood. I got like 7 or 8 holsters for concealed carry, and I don't really like any of them. I have a belly band that I use in the wintertime so I can have one on each side under my winter coat where it's not that visible. I have, I'm trying to think what it's called. I have the one where it's got like the flap on your belt loop and you grab it and you pull the whole damn holster from inside your pants. That one's okay for wearing shorts because I wear tank tops and stuff in the summer. I don't like wearing t-shirts. I get too hot. Sometimes I just leave it in the car if I'm out and about because it's just easier. I don't want to be printing because everybody's so fucking soft and stupid that if I'm printing and you can see that I got a pistol on me, there's a good chance somebody's going to call the police or something, and the police are going to run my name and they're going to show up and they're going to shoot first and ask questions. Never. So I don't know. It just depends. Concealed carrying is such a pain in the ass. I wish it wasn't such a big deal. What's up, Tommy Two Guns? Happy freedom to you. Chase Spray Glock carries best in your hand. Yeah, I got a couple XDMs. I got an XDM and I got a Hellcat, and I got a few other ones, but those are the ones I carry most of the time. I carry the full-size XDM in the wintertime because it's easier to conceal, and then I carry the Hellcat in the summertime. Same reason. What's up, Jack? Happy freedom. Jack, shaving in the nude will put hairs on your chest. Yes, I see what you're saying. Snooks, I bet you look good in a chest strap holster. You mean like over the arms or whatever? I don't like it because it bunches my t-shirt up. So then I'm like, like my sleeves are all all hiked up like this and I'm trying to walk and I'm rubbing my armpit raw and all this stuff. Like I said, concealed carry is such a pain in the ass. You should be able to walk around with that thing on your hip like a cowboy and not have any problems. And we do have open carry in Michigan. They will still give you trouble. They will make you get down on your face. They will arrest you. They will take you to jail. And then they'll sort it out over the weekend and realize that you were within your legal right to do that. Plus, you make yourself a target if you got a gun on your hip. But it is so much more comfortable to carry with the damn thing on the outside than on the inside. And that's what she said. Anyways, like I said, coming up next, many black people and women will not be able to vote if we require ID, says Sunny Ho. I'm pretty sure that's who this is, Sunny Ho. Either way, before we get into this, I want to remind you hooligans really quick to go check out the only hooligan shop for cool custom hooligan items. This shop and everything in it was created by Alistair. And this is our effort to try and get away from third-party stores so we can have control over quality, pricing, shipping times, things like that. I did ask Alistair about the chip clips and he wrote me back, but I've been so busy I haven't been able to read it yet. So maybe tomorrow I will have an update for you guys on the chip clips that we do have on the way, as well as some other items we're going to be adding to the only hooligan shop. But definitely go check it out for cool custom hooligan items. Let's get this short video pulled up with this idiot right here. Yeah, Sunny Ho. Oh, Sunny Ho here, making no sense at all. Making sure everything's based on race. Either way, hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get into this.
That don't have cars, don't have driver's licenses. So it's sort of a vestige of, I think, post-slavery laws where black people had to prove their right to vote, and oftentimes they couldn't vote because they couldn't pass some crazy test or they didn't have the appropriate ID. It also affects women that are married. Maybe your passport reflects something that's different on your birth certificate or on your driver's license. So really the bottom line is voter suppression. And I agree with him 100%. It's a brilliant notion that less voter ID laws allows more people to vote. And most democracies do it that way. We're the only ones that really don't do it that way.
Right. I mean,
Okay, so it's voter suppression to require voter ID because no ID allows more people to vote, such as illegals and the 25 million we have currently occupying the country. That's what Sunny Ho was talking about. She's an idiot. She's an idiot. That's hardly news, but I just wanted you guys to know there's still dumb people out there talking stupid shit like that. Either way, we'll just go ahead and get into this next video. This next one is Trump admin faces deadline on Mahmoud Khalil's deportation.
10 minutes after.
He's running out of time, and I really think he's going to get deported, and I also think that's going to cause the lefties to set fire in the streets. Either way, hit that like button if you got one, and let's get into this.
10 minutes after the top of the hour.
So the Department of Homeland Security has until 6 p.m. Eastern Time to submit evidence that support Mahmoud Khalil's removal from the United States.
Todd Pyro joins us now with more. Hey, Todd.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Khalil appearing before a judge in Louisiana yesterday for an immigration proceeding where he denied 8 allegations against him. He's accused of leading activities aligned with Hamas and lying on his visa application. Khalil's attorneys say they have not received a single document from the government after they requested evidence in the case. The legal permanent resident and Columbia University graduate accused of leading some violent anti-Israel protests on the university's campus last year. Khalil was arrested by ICE in March and detained in New Jersey for a day before being flown to a detention facility in Louisiana where he is currently being held. In a recent op-ed, Khalil claimed that Columbia laid the groundwork for his, quote, abduction, and says students must continue to resist what he describes as repression. He wrote in part, quote, the student movement will continue to carry the mantle of a free Palestine. The judge will make a decision on his removal following another hearing on Friday. Khalil's lawyers are also challenging the legality of his detention in a separate federal case in New Jersey. Back over to you.
This could be, if they're prepared, Todd, this could be a fountain of information and unveiling because there's talk about direct links to organizations that go right back to Hamas. There's testimony that could be used from hostages that are now released. And then with him, you could ripple it right down through others at Columbia.
So there's a connection to Hamas, but he also lied on his form, on his visa application.
Absolutely.
So just on that alone, I think the administration is going to present that in court. The visa application is voided out because he lied, right, Todd?
Yes, but also I do want to follow up on Brian's point. While Lawrence, you may be correct in terms of how this case could ultimately be adjudicated. You lie, you're out. To Brian's point, if we can utilize this case, sort of like, a detective ferrets out a lot of information to get other people involved in a situation. I don't want to use the word crime because we don't know exactly what is at play here, but they can get that information through a long, protracted process. May not be great, may not be what the people want to see, but if you can get that information, I think it'll help the country in general.
Well, because the judge has said that if there's not solid evidence, she's going to essentially terminate the case, and that's going to be it. However, if the government presents solid stuff, look for this to be the model that they use to boot other people out of the country.
Yep. And of course, as we've said, expect this to always end up at the Supreme Court. All these things are going to end up at the Supreme Court, and that case will ultimately determine what can happen for other individuals besides Khalil going forward.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, Khalil has denied all the 8 allegations.
Okay, Mahmoud Khalil, evidence had to be provided an hour and 35 minutes ago. Now, I don't know if that happened or not because I've been doing all kinds of shit, and then I finally got the schedule together and all of that. So I don't know if the evidence was provided or not. I assume it was. They were not detaining him just because. I'm sure they had evidence of his wrongdoing and lied on the visa. He has potential ties to Hamas. He's a terrorist sympathizer. I'm sure there's tons of video footage of that. He's holding pro-Hamas protests. He's an activist. He leads these protests. That alone is enough, because sympathizing with terrorists is a good way to lose your green card. And that's exactly what he's facing. So just staying up to date with the left's new martyr here, Mahmoud Khalil. And like I said, once he gets deported, I think the left is going to kick off. They're trying to make Mahmoud their new George Floyd. And we'll see how that goes. Of course, we'll be covering everything in the summer, especially if there's protests and stuff like that. Now, I don't think it's going to be like George Floyd days. I don't think we're going to see 2020 riots like we did before, because I think the lockdowns really fueled that. But I think we're going to see angry people, and we'll have protests to cover. I'm pretty certain of it. Next up, we get the last little bit of the news. It's titled, New Details Emerge on Alleged Trump Assassin. This is talking about Ryan Ruth, which we haven't heard a whole lot about him. I think he's got court coming up, so all of a sudden he's back in the news. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Mahmoud Khalil. I guess I agree. Zero sent him to Palestine. Yeah, if he loves it so much, let him go. Let him go do the thing. Zero, Sunny Ho's husband's being charged with felonies. She needs to shut up. Yeah. Zero, Indiana University revokes some visas. Good. Get out. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of colleges doing it because they're losing their federal funding if they don't crack down on these pro-Hamas protesters or any terrorist sympathizing individual that's here on a visa or anything like that. That's the quickest way to lose their status. Jack, edible panties should not be yellow. I agree. I agree. Cheddar Steve, those judges are committing treason. Yeah. Yep, these people do not get held accountable enough. That's why they continue to be corrupt like they are. Appeal to heaven. Oh, I didn't know that he lied on his visa. Yep, get out. Yeah, I didn't really know that either, but how many reasons do we need to kick this guy out of the country? Like, why do we want him here so bad? That's what I don't understand. He's done all kinds of stuff that is against his status, his green card status. Why so much controversy about him being kicked out? You break the rules, you got to go. It's so simple. Like, accountability has been missing for so long that people forgot about consequences. Steve S., isn't it universal law that if you complain about your host that you have to go? I mean, you would think, and that's the thing, if they hate it here so much, well, then don't resist when we're trying to help you out the door. You know, I mean, I don't know. You spend all your free time complaining about being here. Now we want you to leave. You don't want to leave. I don't get that. I don't get that at all. I thought you hated it here. Mayors, wow, worried about women being able to vote, but couldn't care less about men pounding women in sports. Yeah, exactly. 2 years ago, they didn't know what a woman was. Now voter ID is oppressive to women. Oh, okay. Like women don't know how to use the internet. Like, these people are so stupid. Magic Moon, the world's gone to hell in a handbasket. Yeah, that's why it's important we all stick together. These damn crazies are out here. Russell, the edible panties should not be brown too. I agree, Russell. That's a good point. That is a good point there. Guess all criminals seem to be victims these days. Yep, there's a pattern going on. What's up, Rappy? Happy freedom to you. Jay Spray, you're bitching about how shitty my house is. I will help you leave. Absolutely, Jay Spray. I don't like people being upset. I like to help them with their problems. If your problem's being here, let me help you leave. Like, it's that simple. Either way, let's get into this last little bit of the news, and then we'll get into the fun stuff. This last one of the news is titled, New Details Emerge on Alleged Trump Assassin. Like he was just hanging out on the golf course with an SKS for no reason. He was just suntanning. You know, and then President Trump just showed up with Secret Service and started shooting at him. And he was like, what do you mean, guy? Either way, it's goofy shit. Alleged. I hate that language. Anyways, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommiTube, and let's get into this.
California man accused of attempting to assassinate Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh 3 years ago, pleading guilty in federal court today. Nicholas Roski was found outside the Kavanaugh home in suburban D.C. back in 2022, armed with a gun, knife, and zip ties. He will be sentenced on October 3rd and could face life in prison. So it has now been 7 months since the second attempt on the life of President Trump, when suspect Ryan Ruth allegedly pointed a gun at the former president and the current candidate at that point through a golf course fence in Florida. He was stopped only because a Secret Service agent was a hole ahead of where the president was playing on that course and spotted the barrel of that gun through the bushes before the president advanced to play that hole.
Yep. You want to go with Keep walking!
What's your name, Austin? Ryan?
Yep. So that happened really because a woman was smart enough to take down his license plate number. When he tried to get away, she thought something looked suspicious, so thank goodness for that. We were told so little about either assassination attempt against the current president and the men behind them while President Biden was still in office. But now, 7 months later, these disturbing details, an alleged effort by Ruth, there was more. He also wanted to, according to these documents, purchase military weapons because he, quote, needed equipment so that Trump cannot get elected. New court documents released ahead of his trial, which will happen in September, reveal that he, quote, sought to purchase military weapons online from an associate he believed to be a Ukrainian. The two had discussed the July 2024 attempt to assassinate Trump, with Ruth writing, "I wish," about the Butler attempt, and then said, "Send me a rocket-propelled grenade or Stinger, and I will see what we can do." Unclear who Ruth was actually communicating with here. With that, we bring in Richard Staropoli. He served.
I don't know how they say all that stuff. He's trying to obtain military weapons. He's directly talking about doing bad things to the president. And then they turn around and go, he allegedly was trying to do bad stuff. And it's not alleged. He had a rifle with him. He was where the president is. He was shot at by Secret Service. It's not fucking alleged. Like, that is so stupid. It's so stupid. They want to leave that alleged talk to the courthouse. Fine. That's where it belongs. But to talk about it on the news, it's like they're trying to defend the guy. It's like they're trying to sympathize with him or something. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. They wouldn't feel that way if he was doing bad stuff to Biden. They'd be all crying about it and shit. We know because we covered J6, and man, they never stopped crying about that, did they? Never. Either way, that is the last little bit of the news. We're going to get into the fun stuff. Like I said in the beginning of the live, we're going to be opening today's door from the Advent calendar that was sent to us by Wad. And we got 2 funny videos of the day. First one's titled Reasons to Get a Cat. And our official funny video of the day is titled Don't Feed the Dinosaurs. All of that's coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you Hooligans think about Ryan Ruth. I forgot about the Kavanaugh guy. I didn't even know about it until I saw that video. Hair juicer, I'd say anything to trick Ukraine into sending me an RPG. It's going to say made in the US on the side of it. They should just let us have those. Guess, oh, this is my SKS, not my 9-iron. Damn, my bad. Yeah. And he camped out on the golf course for 12 hours. He showed up at 2 o'clock in the morning and was discovered at 2 p.m. when the Secret Service started shooting at him. He was allegedly trying to do bad things to President Trump. It's like, what do you mean? It's not alleged. That's all he was doing. I mean, he wasn't doing anything else. Hey, thank you for being here, Era 16. Be safe out there. Too old to care. He was on Gopher Patrol. I mean, maybe. That's the only way they could get away with saying alleged. He's actually the lawn care guy. Like, oh, okay. But no, he's just sitting out there with a rifle. Like, well. Brian, come on, Jeff. He tried to give Trump some noogies. Nothing more. Yeah, that's what it was. He was trying to throw President Trump a surprise birthday party, and Secret Service messed it all up. And now there's these accusations that he was trying to assassinate the president. Like, the news is so stupid how they twist this information. Ghostly, and he ran from the area too. Yeah, exactly. He seems pretty guilty to me. What's up, Mike T? Happy freedom to you. Rappy definitely deserves life in prison. Yeah, and it seems like the Fed boys are trying to get him out of it. Rappy calling for more storms here tomorrow. I feel like we've been having nonstop bad weather for like more than a week now. It's the whole East Coast getting hit. It snowed today and it snowed yesterday. I thought it was spring. Meta, people are stupid. They are stupid. And that's why I complain about the news using that language. We know what's going on. Like, us hooligans know we're constantly indulging in the news, sometimes a little too much, and it causes us to burn out. But for the normies, I think about, a lot of times when we're covering the news, I think about how the normies are receiving this information. People who don't watch the news every day, they don't cover it every day like we do. They hear that, and then it causes doubt, right? It casts doubt in their mind. And you got normies who are being affected by blue news every day, making claims against President Trump, right? He's trampling our rights. He's messing up the Constitution, and he's a dictator, and this, that, and the other. And then they roll this guy out who's trying to do something wrong to the president, and they're like, well, allegedly, as if some MAGA supporter just came out and called him names, and he's just some poor guy being accused of bad stuff. And the normies hear that, and they're like, oh, that poor guy. No, it's not. It's not at all. It's pretty much terrorism what he was involved in. But that's why I bitch about the news and the language they use, because I know how the normies are affected by it. I can see it every time I go to Walmart, where I always bring up Walmart because that's the place I go where I see the most people gathered together, and I see the symptoms from the news in all of them. I can just see people, and not that I want to stereotype them, but it's that damn easy. They're wearing a mask. You can almost guarantee what kind of news they're listening to. You can see the way that they're looking at prices or scoffing at eggs and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, like I can tell who's getting information from where just based on their actions, their behavior, their body language, the way they're dressed up. Like I'm saying, they got 16 masks on, probably didn't vote for Trump. You know, so whenever we're covering the news, I always think, how is this going to affect the normies? Because all of us on Discord and the website and stuff, we all know what's going on. We stay up to date with it every single day. But the normies, they're getting information from their coworkers, from their uncle that stops by whenever he needs cigarette money. You know, that's where they're getting the news. And when you see this kind of news, then you're like, okay, this is going to affect the general public in a negative way. And it shouldn't be like that. What's up, Rhonda? Happy Freedom. Teasel, the elites use non-voter ID to control the outcome. Yeah, and I just found out that a lot of places on the left coast don't even let you vote in person. You have to drop your ballots in a ballot box. And like we saw in Portland, and I think also in Washington State, there was some vigilante or maybe a group of people, it's probably Antifa related, setting fire to these drop boxes. So it's like, you know, how did that affect the election? Nobody even knows. Did they even catch the guy? We never even heard a follow-up for that story. He torched 2 different drop boxes. That was it. Then we had the election and they didn't talk about it anymore. So, you know, it's obvious why they don't want the voter ID. They try to play it off like people are too dumb to get voter ID. Well, they somehow get driver's licenses. That's a lot more difficult than getting voter ID. So, you know, they don't bitch about that. Jay Spray, damn, I feel sorry for you. You don't have a Meijer or a Family Fare. We do have Meijer in Langton. I just don't go there because everything at Meijer is double the price of Walmart. Otherwise, I'd go to Meijer, but I'd see the same goofy individuals there, you know, big old fat bitches with 16 kids that come in every color, and then scruffy dudes that either want to hold you at gunpoint or maybe they're homeless. Everybody smells like shit. Nobody looks happy. That's just that's the way it is. It might just be the area. Your guys' Walmart might be happier than mine, but either way, it's my entertainment for the week. So let's get into our fun stuff here. Like I said, we're going to be opening today's door from the Advent calendar sent to us by Wad, and we got 2 funny videos coming up next. But first, I want to remind you hooligans really quick, if you would like to support the live to keep us running, you're welcome to use that link or the links in the description in order to send donations. You can do that by using PayPal, Cash App, Stripe, Zelle, Venmo, Locals, Buy Me a Coffee, or you can even send crypto. Let's open today's door from the Advent calendar. We're getting down to it. I think we only got 3 days left. Look at this. So many little whiskey bottles. Love them. I love them. Today is day 22. I need to put some Advent calendars on my wish list because I think we're going to miss this part of the show once this calendar is empty. This is a Deanston Highland Single Malt Scotch Whiskey. This is Virgin Oak Single Malt Scotch Whiskey. Good stuff. Look at that tan color. Oh, man. I might have to try this later on. Good stuff. Thank you so much, Wad. I really appreciate you. All right. Let's get into our fun videos here and get this pulled up. Here we go, right here. All right. This is titled Reasons to Get a Cat. Yes. Me and Cat Daniels be singing. I mean, he's not that vocal, but it's close. It's a duet of a kind. Let me get this pulled up. This is our official funny video of the day. Oh, yes. This is titled, Don't Feed the Dinosaurs. Holy. I don't know if that was a kid or a little person, but they're running for their little life. I know that. Either way, that is all the coffee I had for you hooligans today. Grab this Linktree link really quick and drop it in all of the chats. We're going to read through, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. All right, hooligans, there is the Linktree link where all of my links are listed. So if you would like to make donations, join membership programs, or purchase any merch, would really appreciate it. All of your guys' contributions keep us running every day except for Sunday, because we got to have a day to recharge those batteries. Definitely go join Discord. Discord is our free hooligan community. It's the best way to be notified every single time we go live. The hooligans are there, keeping the conversation going 24/7, and we have 2 news boards to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world. So definitely go join Discord. If you're feeling real saucy, go join jeffmaclive.com. Over on the website, it is the best way to experience the live. Our built-in chat has more ability than any other platform. You can post memes and GIFs and custom emojis and links and all kinds of stuff right there while watching the live. You will also have access to Hooligans Alley. Hooligans Alley is our private social media area. You'll have access to the forums. You'll have access to the arcade. You will also have access to our advanced messaging system with the built-in group chats that gives you the ability to text each other, call each other, video call each other, group texting, group calling, group video calling, and more. jeffmaclive.com is the place to be and the home of the hooligans, so definitely go get yourself a membership. Like I said, we're going to read through really quick, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. Let's see. 0 night terrors for sure after that. Yeah, it changed that kid's life. Guess so, if he was a little person, he deserved it. I mean, something. Snooks, I miss Klaus. I know, I got to move his stuff from over there, put it back over here. Got to move everything around. Josh 1776. Yeah, I did see it. I meant to grab a lot of those videos you tagged me in, but I was running late today, so I was like scrambling for videos here. Yeah, it might end up being tomorrow's funny video of the day. J Spray. I live a couple miles from the original Myers. I'd never thought about where the first Meyer was. Josh 1776. I use the Meyer app. They have coupons and sales that make up for the higher prices. I didn't know they had an app. Thank you for letting me. You know what? I'm gonna make a little tab here so I can remember. I did not know that. I will definitely look into that, because I know Myers stuff is higher quality, but I can't afford the higher price. But if I get some coupons, it'd be worth it. Josh Hampton's, oh, you earn points for gas too? That's badass. I'm definitely getting the app. Thank you for letting me know. Appeal to Heaven, I think it was a child dwarf or a little person. Yeah, it's hard to tell. They had quite the noggin on their shoulders, I will say that. Brian almost feel guilty for laughing. They'd be all right. Too old to care, poor kid, PTSD right there. I mean, he knew what he was getting himself into. He saw those dinosaurs when he was walking up. He was trying to take a picture in front of them, and one of them got hungry. That happens. Told to care. Thankful my mom passed in 2016 before all this BS. She was 96. That's how I feel about my grandparents. I was raised by my great-grandparents. They were both in their 90s. My grandpa kicked the bucket, and then 2 years later, almost down to the day, my grandma kicked the bucket, even though they had been divorced for like 30 years. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but usually if there's a couple that have been together for a long time, when one goes, it's usually within 2 years the other one goes. They have a hard time living without each other. And like I said, these two, my great-grandma and my great-grandpa who raised me, they hated each other. They act like they hated each other. They were always telling me and my sister how much they hated each other. Like I said, for like 30 years. And then one died, and 2 years later, the other one kicked the bucket. But both of them was like right before COVID and the lockdowns. And as much as I miss them, and I have so many things that I would love to tell them, because I was going through hard times when both of them died, and they never got to see me become the hooligan I am today. And I really wish I could tell them all the things I made it through and the way life is now. I know they'd be proud that I actually successfully made it through the other side. But I am so glad that they did not have to live through the lockdowns, the COVID bullshit, the vaccines, the illegals entering the country, and so on and so forth. The drag queen story hour for children. They would have hated all of this. And then there's a chance they could have been mistreated during the lockdowns and the vaccine situation, all of that. And I'm glad that they didn't have to go through it, as much as I do miss them being here. Oh, Zero, that's an awesome picture. Ha! I love that. Look at that. That's a good one. That is a good one. Look at Big Klaus Daniels. His hands are almost as big as mine. Damn, I love that picture. I'm going to download that. That is awesome. Big Klaus Diesel. Yes. Guess stand tall, always be brave. If you meet a dumb liberal, you should start digging in the grave. That's right. That's right. Zero wasn't the first Meyer in Plainfield in GR. I'm not sure. I know it has something to do with Michigan, but I've never really thought about where the first Meyer was. I'm trying really hard to say Meyer. In Michigan, we call it Myers. We just add the S in. It's almost like the opposite of a letter being silent. It's not there, but we all say it. Myers. What's up, Tainted? Happy freedom to you. Get the Meyer app. Almost every other week is $1 off gas. That's badass. Heck yeah. I'm gonna download it right after the live. Thank you so much, Wayward, for sharing out the live over on X, and happy freedom to you. Oh, I appreciate you, Wayward. Thank you. All right, hooligans, it's that time once again. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I wonder if I've said the Pledge of Allegiance more on the live than I ever did in school. I almost guarantee it at this point. It's been years. It's been like 2 years or 3 years where we've been doing the Pledge of Allegiance at the end of the live every single day. And one day I'll remember to do it at the beginning of the live, as was suggested like damn near a week ago at this point, and we'll see how that goes, but I got to remember it first. Either way, we're going to read through the chat really quick just to make sure no hooligans were left behind. But like I said, we are wrapping this up. We'll be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time, for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. Hey, thanks for being here, Hair Juicer. Jay Spray the first Meyer was in Greenville, Michigan. I see. Hey, thank you for being here. Too old to care. Oh, I appreciate you, MU. What's up, Ricky? Happy freedom. Thanks for being here, Tony Rich. Oh, I appreciate you slide through, Wayward. No worries. We were all late today. I was like almost 3 hours late for the live. And you guys all still showed up because you're the best. All right, looks like we're good to go. Like I said, we will be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. I really appreciate all of you guys being here. Like I said, even though we were late, you guys still showed up. You're a bunch of badasses, and don't let anybody tell you different. Go out there and get some good food. Maybe get a beer if you need one, if you're into that kind of stuff, or go ahead and drink some water if you're into that kind of stuff. But definitely enjoy your night. Be safe, and make your way back to us tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. Huge shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership programs, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you hooligans, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.